Everybody, welcome back to Church Talk, where we talk about everything involving the local church. My name is Rob, and today we're going to be talking with some volunteer worship team members. Hey guys, today we are talking with some volunteer worship team members from The Bridge in Poca, West Virginia. Beside me, we have Dashawn, and then Chloe, and Kaleb. These guys are all on our worship team. Kaleb is our drummer. Chloe plays keys and sings, and then Dashawn sings, and he's also over our tech ministry. And what we're going to be talking about today is basically how do we manage and how do we balance our personal lives, work lives, and ministry. And then, kind of for you, Dashawn, is like, how do we balance two different ministries? Because they're so close and they kind of go together, but yet they're different. Kaleb, you recently had a baby. Well, your wife did. And so you're kind of a new dad. You have a toddler and a little one. And so kind of talk about that just a moment, about how you balance just kind of your life and your work and ministry, and just kind of what do you do to balance all that out?
Well, we actually have a third baby on the way.
Whoop, whoop.
She's awesome.
She's pregnant now. How I manage between work life, marriage life, and a dad life, just give work my all. That's all you can do. But the most important thing would be, being at home with family and stuff, being present. It's a very important thing because how you act, how you get home really alters their mood as well. With the ministry, it's always just being in it for so long on the worship team. It's something I enjoy. So it's not like, it feels like a burden, I would say. It's all like work. No one wants to work, but like family and this worship ministry and what me and my wife are stepping into now, that is something that we all enjoy. We enjoy each other. We enjoy coming to the church, being in our ministry, and stepping into new things. So it's something that we enjoy. That's how I manage all of those.
Yeah, and to kind of add to that, which I kind of forgot to mention, that you are stepping into youth ministry as well as the youth leader. And so one thing that I've noticed that you've done already is to step back away from Wednesdays and on the worship team, not on the team, but drumming on Wednesdays, so that you can pour into those teenagers more and not be pulled into two different directions. And fortunately, the Lord has just brought some people our way to step right into that drumming role. It was like the perfect time. But for me, that's one thing that I've noticed of how you balance that. Is just, you said, yeah, I'm going to do this. There's going to be some things that I can't do because I can't be everywhere at one time. But Chloe, you are a full-time student getting ready to go back to school like this week. This
Tomorrow.
is the last, so this is the last day we're going to see you for a little while. And so talk about that just a little bit, about how you balance your school life and ministry life, and then when you're back here, I know you're working as well. So just kind of talk about that a little bit, how all that is going for you.
Yeah. So like you said, I'm a full-time student in Virginia, so I'm back and forth quite a bit. And I'm on.
And we're in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Two different states.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yes.
For those that don't know that, you'd be surprised. So I'm on a worship team here in West Virginia, and then I'm on another worship team in Virginia. So that's the flip-flop, and it's chaotic. I will not deny the fact that it's chaotic, but it's like the most beautiful orchestrated chaos, and I love it so much. And kind of like Kaleb was saying, for me, it's never felt like a burden. Ever. Like, it's truly something that I love to do, and like, I am a full-time student, and when I'm in Lynchburg, I'm working a part-time job on top of that. And so it's crazy, and yeah, you do have to make sure that I'm prioritizing time and getting everything done. But like, that is the one part of the week that I know that like I can set aside and I'm not really thinking about anything else. And like that's my time to just kind of step into another atmosphere and worship and do what I love to do for the Lord. And so, yeah, it's never felt like a burden or something that I had to do. It's just really something that I love. And like I will always set aside time for that and prioritize when I can, because that's just my kind of free space, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So Dashawn, we'll jump over to you. I know, like, with being over the tech ministry and also being on the worship team, like I say, they go hand in hand, but but there's still a difference there. And then, of course, you have your full-time job as well. That because none of us are on a paid status here. We're all volunteers, and we have to do something different to make money.
Yeah. Amen.
We've all gotten used to eating and having a house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so we have to do some things to make money. But kind of talk about that a little bit, about how you find the balance between just your life in general with work and then with the worship ministry versus managing the tech ministry.
Yeah, of course. When it comes to ministry in this building, of course, the tech ministry is always my first priority. I'm just making sure that it's managed, making sure we have the correct people in place, everyone's trained and knows what they're doing, making sure that all of our slides are in there, all the songs are right, making sure our live stream is coming through clean, and making sure that it sounds great in the room. And then when I know that I have a good team back here that I can trust, I love getting to be on the worship team, to have that time and lead the congregation in worship. And it takes a lot of time. It does, because for the services to go the way that they do, there's a lot of prep involved before I get here, and making sure that tech is straightened, making sure that people have accepted their requests, that our services have been made in our presenter, making sure that our live stream is scheduled and ready to go. And yeah, so I mean, it's not easy. It's very time consuming, but I love getting to do what I get to do.
Yeah, and that's something to where, like, with our church, we are a growing church. We are.
Amen.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, and it's a great thing. It's a great place to be, but at the same time, it's like we are reaching a new level, and with that means we need more people in the volunteer status. And I love what you just said. When you have a team that you can trust to get those things done, and not saying that you don't trust the team that's there.
Yeah.
But it's a small team.
Exactly.
And a lot of people are sharing different roles, and there are days where I know when I'm scheduling things, I'm like, okay, I got Dashawn on vocals today, so we only have one more person on a Sunday that can run the sound, that is comfortable with it and knows how to operate the board. Now, granted, she may not know all the ins and outs about certain things, but she can mix it, and she can, if there happens to be an issue, she can normally take care of it and fix it without calling on you. But every once in a while, I'll hear that in my in ears, like, Dashawn, there's something wrong.
Yep.
And so it's really nice to have that, to where if you need to exit the stage, you can. You have that freedom. But at the same time, as our team grows and as our church grows, those volunteers are going to grow as well. And I think we'll be able to do more, as a whole. Manage things.
I also feel attacked about the planning, and I feel like you were definitely talking to me, because I definitely did not accept my requests for tonight until literally 5 minutes before practice started. And then Dashawn called me out. I was like, maybe nobody will notice if I accept like right now. And Dashawn comes in and said, did you really just accept your requests right now?
I talked about the tech team.
I get those emails, like, as soon as you accept, I get an email that tells me.
I had to turn them off. I was like, I was getting the emails and the app notifications. I had to turn the emails off and just get the app notifications.
Yeah.
I was getting them for a minute too. I was like, Dashawn, why am I getting notifications that Amber has accepted her role as a vocalist? And Dashawn was like, oh, my bad. You should not be getting those. That was turned
Yeah.
on accident.
Yep.
Yeah. So that leads right into to another subject is why do you guys love the worship ministry? And Chloe, we'll just start with you. What's the reason? You can talk about this one specifically here at the Bridge or in general, because I know you're on another worship team as well. So just why do you love the worship ministry?
Yeah, so I'll start with the broad one because the two teams that I'm on are so different. And it's like almost humorous. Like our team, like it's not huge, but like we've got a good variety of instruments and a good like rotation of several different vocalists so that we can kind of put people in and out so nobody's getting burnt out. And that is not the way that my team is in Lynchburg is. We have me, a guy who plays guitar, and a guy who plays the bongos, and like a couple of singers. And we only have 3 microphones, so our rotation is 3 people. And the great thing about that is that no team is greater than the other.
Right.
And we're like, regardless of how different the two teams are and how the dynamics are different, like both are just a bunch of people coming in who love Jesus and want to worship the Lord and help other people to do the same and just kind of bring in that atmosphere for the Lord to come in and do what he wants to do. And I think that's my favorite part of it is just being able to be a part of kind of ushering in the atmosphere for the Lord, if that makes sense. And just kind of helping to set that tone. And like, because I have always heard like worship is, you know, plowing the ground. You've said that before. And we're kind of posturing our hearts in worship in order to receive what the pastor is bringing. And if you watch sometimes, you can kind of watch that happen in people. Like we'll be up there and I'll just kind of be looking because I look around a lot while we're worshiping. It's a guilty pleasure. I'm a people watcher. And you can kind of see sometimes somebody will just kind of, you can see their hearts getting into the upright position and getting ready to receive. And that's such a beautiful thing and I love it. And yeah, one of my favorite things is when we will stop singing whatever song we're singing and Olivia likes to, what's the game called? Is it real or is it a Rob original?
Is it real or is it a Rob original?
And we just kind of stop singing whatever we're singing and we'll just play, or you'll start singing something random and we're not even like playing a real song at that point, and everyone is just so authentically worshiping and it's coming from such a real raw place. And I love to just watch a congregation be able to step into that place and to feel comfortable stepping into that.
Right.
And that's an awesome process to be a part of. But yeah.
That's awesome. I will say too, you know, you're talking about the team in Lynchburg. You know, if you have a team to where it's not a great big team, it's okay. You know, there's not, like you said, there's not, you know, one size team is greater or better than another. It's you work with whatever it is that you have, and the quality of your sound and all that. So many times we have a smaller team or just like one person or whatever, they feel like their quality is lacking. But that's not the case at all. The quality of your worship, or at least of your sound, doesn't really matter on the size. You know, we all want this great big huge worship team, and we're growing. We're getting to that place where we do have several volunteers and several people who are rotating in and out. But we're no comparison to some of these other, you know, larger churches that, you know, we're not there. But the Lord has blessed us to where we do have those several people. But no matter what size team that you have, you know, you bring your very best to the Lord, and the Lord blesses it, and the Lord uses it. Yeah. So never think that because your team is large that you've arrived and you're better than, or if you're small that you're not as good, because those are just lies of the enemy, and we don't need to compare. It's one thing that I've always told like all of our teams, like never compare yourself to somebody else, because you're either going to fall short or you're going to start getting arrogant. Yeah. And so that's one thing that we really have to watch, because it's so easy to compare ourselves, especially as musicians, because we're like, oh man, you sound so good on that, and then you start to compare and you're like, man, I don't sound that good. Then all of a sudden you're like I'm not that good. or you're like, I'm better than that, and all of a sudden you got this highness about you that's like,
Right.
we need to, we need to humble ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
So, so Kaleb, why do you love worship ministry? What's your thoughts on that?
Why I love worship ministry, one is because it is a gift that God has given me to be able to play drums. And it's also like what Chloe said about plowing the ground. And it's such an honor to plow the ground for Pastor Mike and to get the congregation ready for them to receive
Yeah.
the word. And it's like, I've always heard that like back then in like history time, anytime you got ready for a battle, the worshipers went first.
Right.
And that's how I view this. It's like this is a battleground, Like we're going in, it's fight to the death, because and we plow the ground for these people to accept or, deny,
Right.
And it's, that's just my thought of like why, and like you talked about like comparing yourselves to people and everything like that, and being part of this church. Like I've been drumming since I was 12 years old, and when I wouldn't say deemed the drummer boy, but when there was no one else, I got arrogant, and I thought I was the best. And then when I got my first phone, I got Instagram, and I got humbled real quick. So I was watching drum videos, and I was like,
That's how it works.
"Oh," I was like, "Man, I suck." But like I said, the first thing is because God has given me a talent. What better way to, when you doubt yourself, you just got to get better, and that's what I just practice, and there's always more for improvement. That's why I love worship ministry, because it's a gift that I get to give back to God, and
Yeah.
that's what I appreciate about it.
That's
most.
awesome. That's awesome. I love the times when, like Chloe, you were talking about, where we kind of break out from the written song and we just do something spontaneous, and it gives that moment too to where our musicians and you as the drummer can just play something from your heart to the Lord. And there's a battle that's like when you start playing the drums in a certain way, it's like there's a battle going on in the spirit. You are warring on the drums, and many times and even in some cultures, it's like you hear the drum, and it's like it's their battle, that's their war instrument. You hear the drumming, and so for us, it's kind of the same thing. It's like there's times it's like you just play that drum set and just proclaim the word of the Lord and proclaim what, like you said, what the Lord has given you on your instrument, and you give back to the Lord. And the same thing on the keys. It's like, and our guitarists, and it's really everybody up there, they're giving back to the Lord and entertaining his presence. Not entertaining the presence of the people, but entertaining the presence of the Lord. And so yeah, that's really good. So Dashawn, what do you love about just worship ministry in general or specific to the team?
Man, there's not much else I could say that Chloe and Kaleb didn't already say.
They covered
But
a lot, didn't they?
They did. They covered a lot. They covered most of it. But my favorite part about worship ministry is just the atmosphere. The atmosphere of worship when it's set and you've led the people in and you're just glorifying the Lord. Like that is my favorite part of worship ministry, because they're both right. Like we have to plow the ground. We have to prepare the atmosphere, and really being on both sides of it, the worship side and the tech side, you see it from both ends. Like you'll see people open up that walked in and you would never assume that they would open up. But I say it a lot. It's the worship team's job to prepare the atmosphere, and it's the tech team's job to eliminate distractions. And just being able to see that in action and be able to just allow you all to take take us straight into the atmosphere and then have me and my team back here like, oh, that doesn't sound right, or oh, that lyric's wrong. And just really, you guys are preparing the atmosphere, and we're just eliminating distractions that keep people from worshiping. Because the more distracted people are, I mean, people are always going to find some way to be distracted, some way to not pay attention. They're always looking for something to keep their eyes off of what's going on, especially in the church. But if as a tech team we can eliminate distractions and keep people focused on the one that we're here for, we can't do a better job. But what I love about worship ministry is just the atmosphere and watching people's lives change just through music and what the Lord is doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And to add to that a little bit of what I see as far as the tech booth and the tech ministry goes is you capture what's going on in the moment and you share it with the world through going online.
Yeah.
And that is something that a lot of churches really struggle with. And we've not arrived, but I think we've done so much better these past several months, really. The team has grown a lot the past few months, and even grown on how to navigate our sound console, how to, because we don't have somebody that's just dedicated running the sound for our live stream. So you've come up with, I know you've done some research, and so basically things are mirroring what's going on here in-house. So now you can always pick out some things online that you're like, oh, I would change that, or I would change that, because it needs mix for online. You know? But we don't have the availability to do that. But you guys have made it sound the best that it can with the team that we have, but also you're capturing the moment with not only one camera but two cameras, and then you have people who are taking pictures and capturing all that and sharing it with everybody. That, to me, that's like, the word is really important to capture and to put it out. And I've always thought, worship, if we capture it, it doesn't really matter, because people at home are probably not going to worship. And then I found out there are, out of 100 people, there's probably like 5 people who are worshiping with us at home. But it's for those 5 people. Right. The others who are just watching, they're just watching. They're not going to do. But those who can't be there, or those who would love to be present, are worshiping with you. But it also shares what's going on in the church.
Yeah.
And if somebody is looking for what we have going on, they found it through flipping through Facebook and flipping through, oh, you guys got a youth group. Oh, you guys got young. Oh, you got the things that I'm looking for. It's like right down the road, and I didn't know it. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for that tech ministry, nobody would know. Yeah. And so that's super important. That's super important. And you guys have any other thoughts? I mean, I can sit here and talk all day long about worship and tech and things like that. So
you talked about like people looking on, just scrolling through and be like, oh, that's this, that's that. Dashawn has actually recorded a video, and I actually got it's something I wanted to do for so long.
Yes, I saw that.
Because like I said, I've been playing drums for 12 years at this church, and that's been a biggest dream of mine, was just to post videos and just show people what God has done. Like,
where can I go to find that, like right now, before, if I wanted to go watch it again?
My personal Facebook page.
What would that be?
Kaleb Gladfelter.
Okay.
That's just my name on Facebook.
Kaleb with a K.
Yeah, and that's what I appreciate about our tech P right here, is not only does he do like the main thing for the whole church, but if you have something like, hey, you want to do a little side thing for me? He'd be the first to be like, yeah. That's what I love about Dashawn.
Yeah, and something else really cool about that too is that you are developing a team of people who you're not like doing every single thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're developing a team to where you know how to do all those things, and now you're growing into, okay, you go do that, you go do that, and so you have
Yep.
you got video guys, you got camera guy doing the camera switching and photography and all those things, to where the Lord's blessed you with a team that you can pour into and develop and doing things like that. I mean, I loved seeing that video. I thought that was awesome. And I don't remember. Oh, I think you were singing on that song.
Yeah,
If
Chloe
I'm,
was
if I'm
singing.
thinking
Yeah,
right.
she
Chloe
was.
singing on it.
And it sounded awesome. I loved it. I'm like, hey, that's us.
right?
You're not just practicing.
Isn't
That's
that
like
weird?
that's us.
Right.
That's what I say every time. I'm like, oh my gosh, is that what? That's us. That's crazy.
And the same goes for Chloe, because when Chloe first stepped in,
Oh gosh.
like, you got right down to business learning the piano. And then when you started singing, I'm like, Chloe can sing? What the heck? So that's also another thing I appreciate about Chloe being in this worship ministry, is that you pick everything up. And you go to Lynchburg, and then you come back, and you're like, oh, hey, guys, I'm back. Dude, guess what? I know the song now. So it's just awesome to work with you guys in this. And I wouldn't have it any other way, volunteer or paid. It doesn't matter to me. All that matters is your guys' hearts, and that's what I appreciate about you guys.
Something that I've
Thank you,
noticed
Kaleb.
too, that and maybe I'm going to say something one of you guys was going to say, but how our team loves just spending time with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we come together for practice on a Friday evening, we'll get here between 6 and 6:30 to start at 6:30, but we don't start practice until
Yep.
usually 7 or 7:30 because we have devotion 1st, and the devotion goes into discussion. Discussion goes into more discussion, and sometimes it's like, okay, we got to get started on some practice because there's some new stuff we got to learn, or it's like we're not doing anything new. Let's just take our time and be together. And then some days, like after Wednesdays, we're here until like 10:30 or so.
Yep.
And I mean, you're like, I got 2 little ones. I got to get them to bed. I can't hang out like this. I got to go. But then there's more people. That's just the other half of the team or whatever is just still here, hanging out with each other, enjoying each other's company. And then, that's. I think that's a good sign of a healthy team, a healthy ministry, is when people like spending time with each other.
Yeah, I mean, because the team here is more than just a ministry. It is genuinely a family that has chosen to be together, and we genuinely enjoy each other's company and conversations and just spending time with one another. It doesn't take a church building to draw us together, even though that might be how we have met.
Yeah.
Like, it spans so much farther than just this building.
Yeah, and something we were talking about the other day was just how great our team is. Like you were saying, like, we truly are just a group, and we love our ministry, but we also love each other very well, I think. And we'd love to just spend time together, and we uplift each other. And that's honestly sometimes hard to find in a team.
Yeah,
and we
very
were
true.
talking the other day about how, like, I can honestly say, like, nobody in our team is in competition with each other. Like,
Yeah.
at all. I really don't think we have that problem at all. And a lot of
that's
churches
awesome.
have that problem of people kind of having these little competitions within ministry and like comparing themselves to each other. And I really don't think we have a problem with that, which is awesome. But we really just are a group of people who want to band together and minister to each other and to others and bounce off of each other. And that's like awesome. I love our team specifically. Like, it's just awesome. We have a great group of people.
Yeah, and I can say this too of the general church, is that same mentality and that same joy is felt in the general leadership of our church as well.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
just in the worship ministry or just in the kids, but there's times when we would come together for just a dinner, or not say dinner, but just a lunch with
Yeah.
the leadership, And before we know it, it's like 7:30 in the evening because we've just been sitting around talking about things.
Whole time.
Sometimes ministry and sometimes other things, and just enjoying each other's company. And wasn't any planning at all of what's going on with church, but just being together. And so that same mentality has flowed into, I don't want to say flowed into, but flows in our worship ministry. And I think it's throughout our church. So it's one thing I can say about the Bridge is that, and people love each other, you know, and it's genuine, it's real, it's the love of Jesus, you know. It's not fake, you know. It's real. So you guys have any other thoughts? I don't want to cut you guys short or anything like that. Guys, I appreciate you all staying after a Wednesday evening, and I know you've got to wake up in the morning and drive back to school. So if you've gotten any value out of this, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure that you hit the like button, the share button, and subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps me out to grow the channel. And when you hit like, it really helps the algorithm to know that, hey, people like this type of content, and it continues to share with other people. So help me out by liking and sharing and subscribing. And we'll see you guys next time on Church Talk. Thanks for watching.
This is the second time you're recording.
Yeah, same thing we talked about.
And let me tell you, I jumped over a conveyor belt. It was not a good idea.
I thought you meant like, what are we talking about right now?
I took
I
a
was like,
chunk
I don't
out.
know the camera, I think.
Look, it's starting to bruise, babe.